By the end of this video, you will know about the present tense of eīmī, a verb which means I am. Hi, my name is Rob McIver. Let's talk about the verb eīmī in the Greek New Testament. This is a very interesting verb, not only in Greek, but the equivalent verb in other languages is also interesting. Take English. I'm going to do a little exercise now, and let's see how you go. If I say I am, you, he, she, or it, we, you, they, and then what does the verb look like that goes after to? All right, did you say I am, you are, he, she, or it is, we are, you are, they are, and after to, you put the word be, to be. What joins all of those different words to be part of the one verb? It's an hour. We just happen to know that in English. And this is the verb to be, a very frequently used word in English, in German, in French, and in Greek. And because it is so frequently used in almost every language, it is highly irregular. eīmī is quite irregular. It goes eīmī, I, ἐστίν, ἐσμεν, ἐστί, eīsin. So, if we're trying to make eīmī easier, let me make a suggestion. Alas, it involves memorization, and you really do need to know how to write out that paradigm. It's going to pay dividends because the word is used so often in the New Testament. Now, in my book, Beginning New Testament Greek Made Easier, I have written down several notes about the verb eīmī. I won't share all of them here, but let's just hit on the highlights. First of all, it uses the nominative for both the subject of the verb and the complement of the verb, and it does not take a direct object. Maybe we should look at an example or two to explain that. ἐστίν anthropos ho Petros. He is a man, the Peter. You'll remember that Petros and Jesus usually have an article in the Greek New Testament. So we have Petros is in the nominative case and anthropos is in the nominative case, and the sentence means Peter is a man. The is kind of functions like an equal sign, doesn't it? Peter equals man. So in some respects, it does make sense to use nominative for both subject Peter and complement a man. Now, I looked for some examples in the Greek New Testament, and there are lots of examples where ἐστίν has a nominative for both the subject and complement. In fact, ἐστίν itself is found 897 times in the Greek New Testament. But every example used vocabulary that you do not yet know. So I have cheated a little bit. I have put in square brackets the words that you don't know yet. For example, the seed, ἐστίν ho logos. The seed is the word. That's from Luke 8:11. He, ἐστίν ho huios to Theou. He is the Son of God. Huios anthropou ἐστίν. By the way, this is exactly as it's found in the New Testament. And you'll notice it's another he is, and this time the complement comes before ἐστίν. Huios anthropou ἐστίν. He is Son of Man. Yes, we can't say a Son of Man. If we wanted to use something in English, we'd have to say the Son of Man, but you'll notice it's not there. If you read the context, it will make sense. Jesus has this authority because he is of the quality of Son of Man. As you can see, sometimes it's a little tricky working out what is the subject and what is the complement of the verb to be. The third note I'll make there is that there are two words that almost look identical, I and I. One means you are, one means if. Do you notice the difference? Yes, it is a difference in an accent. So, I don't know if you've been learning accents as you go. If you've chosen not to learn accents on other words in Greek, these are two words where you do need to know the accent. I just note in passing that some textbooks write ἐστίν with brackets around the nu, implying that it's a movable nu. If you check out modern editions of the Greek New Testament, it is almost always ἐστίν. I could only find one exception, that is in Acts 19:10. And another interesting thing about eİmī is that the accents that belong with eİmī are usually placed back on the previous word. This is called enclitic. Of course, there is one exception to that, because I keeps its accent to show that it is you are and not the word if. So there are some of the highlights of the verb eİmī, an important verb that's used a great deal. It is, well, there is no other nicer word than to say that it is an irregular verb, but it's an irregular verb that is worth your while learning. So do go to the trouble to learn the paradigm of the verb eİmī. Now, this is one of several of my videos on various aspects of the grammar of the Greek New Testament. And the common theme is we try and make things easier to understand. You can most easily find these videos by subscribing to my YouTube channel, NT Greek Made Easier, or by following me on x.com at McIver 2024. And hey, if you found this video helpful, why not let me know by clicking on the like button below or by clicking on the heart icon. Thank you.